You're going to absolutely love it. So we've got the Women in Real Estate panel next. And I'd like to introduce them maybe one at a time. Jamie Alves, would you come up? Give her a big round of applause. You get to pick whatever chair you want, I suppose. Thank you. Jordan Hill, would you join us, please? I think I'm going a theme with the clothing here. Look at the shiny jackets. This is amazing. I love it. Sherry Gregory, would you please join us? Thank you for having us and being here with us. Andrea Beem, please join us. And last but not least, Courtney Twiss. Where are you? Courtney, there you are. With these lights past the second table, it's nothing. Oh my gosh. Not only have we assembled the most beautiful panel on planet Earth, they're also incredibly brilliant, talented, and have already reached pinnacles in their real estate career that we'd all be proud of and we'd all want a part of. So with that, I'm going to moderate a little bit with some questions, but really, ladies, I want you to maybe introduce yourselves one at a time, tell a little bit about your story. Just take a minute or two to talk about your story, your journey, what you're doing now, and then we're going to kind of get into some questions that we can have the flow of the panel. And, you know, they've put together some amazing questions to highlight you, highlight your success, highlight your really determination in this now women-led industry, right? I think it's 64%. Is that accurate? Roughly 64% of every agent is a woman. And that's why we thought it would be really valuable to have this panel for you today and to understand some of the challenges that may come with the industry. All right? So, Jamie, if you would start with yourself. Maybe 1 minute, talk about yourself, where you're from, what you do. You like dogs, cats, that kind of stuff.
Hi, I'm Jamie Alves. I am actually from the Phoenix market. My husband, Steve Alves, is in the crowd, and we used to live here in Oregon for many years, and my husband's been licensed since '94. I got my license in 2006. We conquered and divided. My husband was mainly a listing specialist. I did buyers. He would have 56 or so listings at a time usually, and I would run around town and show homes and sell them. So we did that for a long time. It was wearing us out like crazy, and we decided we would conquer and divide it. The current brokerage we were at, it was Premier Property Group. It was a smaller boutique at the time with 35 agents, and he was inspirational in putting together a program where we could actually start to live with residual income. What a thought. So we said, you're going to work with the builders and take off and do the real estate side. He still dabbled in it, of course, but he really focused on that. We did that for about 12 years. We decided, we're done. We're going to go live the desert life under palm trees and pools and kind of enjoy what we have created. So we actually don't sell a ton of real estate anymore. We had our time, and so we're in golf course area, and we play, we support, we coach, and we have 2 kids, a 10 and 11-year-old, and a dog named Lucy. So.
I am Jordan Hill, and I'm blessed to live here in Salem, Oregon. So I flew in, but just over the bridge. So, I mean, my husband and I are both licensed agents. He is deployed over in Louisiana, getting soldiers ready for a year-long deployment right now, so he can't be here. But yeah, we have 4 kids together. We just love working as a team together. It's taken some figuring out. I'm sure everyone who has a spouse that you work with understand that, but we have a team called Hilltop Property Group here in Oregon, and my happy place is supporting those team members. I do production as well, but I love creating systems, tools. I'm an operations brain, and in my spare time, I like to do triathlons and Krav Maga, and so I just kind of go hard or go home, so yeah.
I'm Sherry Gregory. I've been in the business 28 years. I was going to say I am from a small town called Sweet Home. Some of you may have heard of it. A lot of people say, well, how can you sell, real estate in Sweet Home? And I say, you can keep thinking that, right? But I think in my career, we're almost at 4,000 homes or people that we've served. I'm super blessed for that. I have actually brought on my daughter, helps run the team for me. She does the operations, so it's a family business. My son does photography, and now my daughter-in-law is involved as well. So just loving being able to hopefully leave a legacy for years to come. Also have 2 granddaughters that I love so much, and so that's really my spare time. That's where it's spent, and I think that's it.
So you have spare time?
Just a little. I'm Andrea Beem. I own the Beem team in Albany, Oregon, and I've got some of my Beemsters out here in the crowd. Yeah. I started out life a little different. I lived in 20 homes in my first 18 years of life. And grew up competing in martial arts until my 20s. And I trained police dogs with a family member. I did a lot of really cool things, but moving around 20 years that much wasn't fun, but it also gave me the skill set now to own a real estate team. I hated it then, and now I'm super thankful for it. Now we are a team in Albany, and we've got 10 of us. And my son, I have 2 boys, actually. One just got married a few weeks ago, and one is about to be a senior in high school, so please pray for me. And they are both big sports kids, and they, of course, do wrestling. I am a true #boy mom all the way. There was a lot of wrestling in my household. And now we have the opportunity, this team that we're building and growing, to me is just a platform. I love real estate, and I think all of us up here love what we do. And for me, it's a platform really for my faith. Our values, our top value is God is at the core. And for me, this is a platform for me to just share my faith in God. And we do that through this platform called real estate, right? Because sharing into lives of people, pouring into lives of people, that's what all the speakers are doing up here, is so important, I think, in life, that we help each other, that we show each other a path, right? So that's me.
My name's Courtney Twiss, and I'm a #girl mom with 3 daughters. Not as much wrestling going on in our household. So I actually live in a very rural community outside Yosemite National Park, and I got into real estate probably like many of you women out there for a lifestyle choice. I started having babies. I didn't want to commute because I had gotten into lending, and I was managing and working 12 hours a day and gone for, all my kids' childhood when they were really little. So I thought, I'm going to go ahead and try this real estate thing. And from there, it kind of grew. Our community is really small, and I'm ambitious and wanted to expand. And so I started from being, part-time real estate agent to expanding and growing my own brokerage with 3 locations, own a lending company. I got into the Airbnb market pretty early on, and now have a boutique hotel outside Yosemite, and we have a construction company. So I've kind of had my hands in all different areas of real estate, and it's been a lot of fun. And back in the fall, took my company under EXP with the cloud-based model, so I'm enjoying growing an organization in all different markets. So here I am.
Yeah, I think ambitious is an understatement across everybody on this stage. So, I heard a couple common components in that, but how do you balance and prioritize your professional responsibilities with your personal life, with family and whatever that may look like? Courtney, maybe start with you.
Okay. Well, some of you might have heard me say this before, but I think balance is BS. I think it's
Everybody nodded their heads.
it's aspirational, right? Like you don't balance. There's no 50-50 split between work and home life. You manage the imbalance, and that's kind of how I have approached it. And I do that by very much living by my calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it does not happen. Just ask my kids with all their sporting activities. But yeah, I think that if you try to be balanced, you're going to kill yourself doing that. So you just have to manage the chaos and the imbalance.
I love it. You said the calendar is the critical piece, right? You live in, but die by it, I guess you would say. But I think that's a common thread that we keep seeing amongst high performers and top producers. Interesting, Andrea.
Google Calendar. But beyond that, I would say spending the time to really be intentional. So I actually have time blocked out. I either on Friday or on Sunday will sit down and really look at my next week and what has to occur. But if you look at my Google Calendar, it is the most color-coded, time-blocked calendar you'll probably ever see. Usually people look at my calendar and they're like, whoa, okay, that's a lot. But if I don't do that, my life is, your mom, your business owner. I'm a caregiver to my mom who lives with us. And so a lot of my schedule is around my caregiver's schedules. So if I don't live by that Google Calendar and if I don't get intentional with what needs to happen in that week, then it would just be a hot mess. And I would just be living everyone else's priorities. And so the Google Calendar is kind of my best friend.
Yeah, for me, I do a daily plan. So every evening before I go to bed, just so I can sleep well. If not, I used to have a pad and pen by my bed because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. So I said I got to have some method to my madness. So I started in the evening. Takes me 20 minutes. I'm writing down a list of what needs to happen the next day, and that's been huge for me.
What's your high water mark for transactions?
Personally?
Yeah, your team.
Oh, so team-wise, I think we had our best year. It was 400 units in 1 year.
Wow.
With 5 agents. And then this last year, I think we did just over 200. So it was a little bit, we've, it's been,
moved.
yep, it has. However, average sales price had changed and net profit was probably pretty close to the same.
I love that.
So being a little more purposeful.
I remember talking to you about that. That's
and,
amazing.
And I still am in sales. I'm trying to, get out of sales more, but used to I was about 50%, but now I'm about 40%, so it's getting better.
I love it. What would you rather have, more sales or more money? It's a struggle in the beginning of your career because a lot of agents attach transactions to success, and it's not. Many times you could make much more profit by scaling back or finding that niche. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Thank you for that. Jordan, same question. How do you prioritize professional responsibilities, clients, and your world?
Yes, so I treat my calendar, which is essential, everything they've said, like a budget, like a financial budget. So I need to know where every minute goes, just like we should know where every dollar goes. And so I try to be proactive instead of reactive, but we have to react in this business. So similarly to budgeting out your money, and then you have your fun money, your petty cash. I treat my time the same way, so I prioritize things. I put my important things in first, and I leave those gaps of time to react or to take a kid to the doctor if I need to that day because someone woke up with a fever. I have that time in there, and then I also have kind of my mid-level urgency items that I can squeeze in there if it's a gap, I know what to fit in there. So yeah.
So really not a whole lot different than what they were saying. I live by my calendar on my phone. I'm very old-fashioned, even though I'm only 44. So I actually have a paper calendar. I know, isn't that bad? I don't spreadsheet or anything like that, but I always balance the two. I look at it the night before. I know exactly what I'm doing the next day. I know exactly what I'm doing the rest of the week. So if I get a call or I'm on the go, I'm with a current client, I can get back to them quickly. And I already have a picture of what's happening and what's going on. And then since we do have small kids, I'm always cross-balancing with my husband saying, okay, so what's tomorrow? What time are you out of here? What are your appointments? So yeah, just living by that calendar, and I'm anal about it too. So if somebody's like, oh, well, this is happening or this has come up, I'm like, nope, can't. Like, and even with like the family and what have you. So I think it's just being diligent to that, not being a pushover about your schedule, and then really truly prioritizing time for yourself. I'm a huge morning fitness person, and so I don't let anything come in between that, and I mean anything. So I just simply have to say, hey, haven't got my workout in, you might not want to talk to me. So I block out client appointments after I know I'm free, and we'll get into that later, but your calendar is, it's like the menu, and like, what are you gonna eat? Like, this is what you're doing today, so.
And Kirsty and I stayed with Jamie and Steve in Arizona, beautiful house, and watching her operate for 4 or 5 days, when you live with somebody, you see the real what's going on. Energizer Bunny, it's just unbelievable. And that's what I think of when I think of every one of the 5 human beings on this stage, is just that unrelenting, we just got to get it done, right? And I don't know if that's a mom thing. I don't know if that's a woman thing. My staff was like, you can't say that. I'm like, I'm curious. Yeah. Like, I want to know, right? Yeah. Because moms are superhumans. You know, we have 6 kids together, 8 grandkids. She's got 4, I have 2 kids. And how she did that, I'm just in awe, right? I'm in awe of each and every one of you. And it's not a child thing. It's a business thing. It's how do you put all that together? So my next question is, it could be for anybody now, by the way, whoever feels compelled to interject, but can you share a challenge you were faced as a female real estate agent, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I think, do you guys have something? I think, excuse me, for females, that safety is always a concern in general, and so kind of a challenge that I experienced over the years is doing open houses. I was doing them, but I never really felt safe doing them. And so even though I would bring proper things to protect myself or have exit strategies, I think safety is something that creates fear, you know, in that, because you just never know what you're up against for women. So I think just getting over that, like that's a big deal. And then if you were in the business in 2008 and you were a male or female and you got through it and you're still here and you're still alive, so that was a challenge too.
And I'm glad you said that, because for me, it's not male or female when I think of this. You just brought it up. That wasn't on my radar as a man, right? And that's probably a top priority for a woman in real estate. And that safety is such a huge concern, and it's getting bigger. You know, I think it's getting bigger.
Yeah, actually, early on in my career, you guys will not believe this, there was actually a serial killer that was targeting realtors that was trying to set up appointments with myself and another one in the office. So thank you, Google. We found out there was a warrant out for him, and we were able to get ahead of it. But that kind of set the tone very early on to pay attention to who you're showing. Make sure you vet them. Make sure you share your location with somebody of where you're going. Always, you know, if I'm showing a property, I back my car up so I can get out. And we're in the mountains, so we might pack some heat to protect ourselves.
We might pack some heat.
We might. But yeah, it can happen. So it's something you have to take seriously.
Totally. Anybody else? Any input? All right, cool.
Add something, Randy.
Sorry?
Tawana, I think, said earlier, she was talking about being prepared.
Tawana definitely
Yeah.
packs heat. She's like, you betcha.
You know, I think being prepared, so I don't think this is where you were going with the question with the safety, but I'm glad that you brought it up, because to be prepared when you're in this industry, you have to not just leave your circumstances to chance, right? And not have a victim mentality. And I think a lot of that, people will target people that they think might look like a victim, right? And so doing things like Krav Maga, or self-defense, or carrying a firearm, or pepper spray, or whatever, be prepared. Don't just think it's not going to ever happen to you, because we all know that that is a really bad mindset to have. So just be prepared. Like Tawana said, I know she was talking about real estate and we're talking about safety, but it's the same mentality. Just be prepared.
Yeah, and there's no victims on this stage. Every one of you are like karate and all this stuff. I'm like, I want you with me in the alley. 100%. When you look at, this is a big one for me, right? As a coach and as somebody that had to dig into personal development because of death and adversity and things in my life. How do you make time for you? How do you make time for your fulfillment, and more importantly, take time to reflect on gratitude and all things to keep you positive in this environment?
Time block it in your calendar.
Morning routine. Like, dig into that for me. What's that look like for each of you? This is big for me.
Yeah, I mean, we have to have in our calendar. I'm sure you have yours, you know. So it takes practice. It takes definitely habit stacking. When you're looking to make a change or implement these things, it won't just happen overnight just because you want it to. So little changes, you know, getting up 20 minutes early, then 30, then an hour, then starting to build, you know, reading into it, exercise, taking a walk. You can actually get a lot of lead gen done while you take a morning walk. So, that's what I do.
Good job. Anybody else? Mindset and how you stay at the top of your game with that.
Yeah, I think one of the things I do is I listen to a podcast every morning while I'm in the shower. It's just something to, change your mindset, make sure that you're right with your day. I think we all have rituals. We don't think we do, and I really didn't think I did until I read the book Atomic Habits. And then I realized we really do. And then you can do habit stacking on top of it, so that if there's things you want to implement, that's a great way to do that. But yeah, just even podcasts that are 15, 20 minutes, I have a couple that are my favorites, and I always get some nuggets out of it.
Any podcasts you love?
No Days Off is one that I really like right now, because I don't like listening to something for an hour. I am pretty impatient when it comes to that. So if it's 15, 20 minutes, it's perfect.
Love it. Love it.
I think it's important to have things that you look forward to on your calendar. So when you look at your week, is there one thing you can look forward to, whether that be an outing with your family or a girlfriend or your husband or whatever the case may be, or if it's not weekly, it's monthly, or it's a trip, and there's lots of opportunities, obviously, here at EXP, some great events like this to go to. So just staying energized, and really, truly, kind of a little bit about my journey is I was not always like this. I've also lost 96 pounds, and so
Come on, girl.
The last 4 years have totally changed my life. I was born and raised here in Oregon. I lived in the clouds for 10 months. I moved to Phoenix, Scottsdale area, and my life changed. I could be outside and do whatever I wanted when I wanted, but it took me to say no and not be the somewhat really truly pushover that I was here. Clients ran me around whenever they needed me, and I now tell my clients nicely, politely, confidently, like, oh, that doesn't work today, but I could get you at 10. I have a Zoom at 9. You know why I do that? I'm not trying to be a liar. It's because that time in the morning is so important. Why do we do this? If we can scurry around and sell the homes that a lot of us have, but if we have all this wealth and we have zero health, what are we doing this for? And so that was an aha for me. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, her last radiation treatment. Her sister was diagnosed the same day. And so that all happened in the last month. My cousin was diagnosed with breast cancer last week. So health to me is a priority. And if you don't feel right and you don't feel good about yourself, and I thought I did back then, but I didn't when you look back today, and you will see your business explode, friendships that are these kind of friendships explode, people that get it. You're going to find your people. And the ones that don't support you, need you, want you, or your haters will go bye-bye, and that's okay. And that's where your breakthrough is going to come through. That's when you're going to start living. Put your health first, guys, because none of this stuff matters if we're not healthy. My dad's going to have a hip surgery in 2 weeks. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. You won't enjoy your life unless you make yourself right. And when you're right, your business is right, period.
So, speak to the young women that are maybe entering the real estate business, and what advice would you give them? There's literally thousands of transactions, hundreds of $1 million of production on this stage right now. What advice would you give a woman entering this real estate space right now in this market?
Well, I would just say, as someone that grew my business through the recession, that you can do it. This market is tough. The last couple of years, as we've talked about, transactions are significantly down. And if you get into real estate now and you get in your office, whether that's at your house or an actual brick and mortar, and you call expireds and you do as many open houses as you can, and you find someone to shadow and to be your mentor, you will be a top agent in just a matter of years. If you can just persevere through a tough market, you're gonna kill it. So just stick with it and do it, because I did it, and it was a hard market to be in as a new agent. That 2007, 2011, my husband and I lost everything during that period. Our home, everything. Started over, and now we're in quite a different position.
I don't think this is just for young women. I think this is for any age. I have mentored a lot of agents in my career, and one common thread that I see, especially with new agents starting out, is the doubt is enormous, especially that first year in real estate. Usually about a month or two in, and sometimes even a few more months in, usually I see a breakdown. Usually I will see, the tears of, what was I thinking? Can I really do this? Is this something that I can really make a career out of? And it's almost like clockwork. I can almost count down the days at this point because of the amount of agents that I've mentored from brand new to successful. And there's always a moment, and sometimes it's more than one. And so my advice would be that when those moments hit, because they will, find that mentor, find that person that will fight for you, find that person that believes in you, and be really close to them and really open up to them about the doubts that you're struggling with, because it's the thing that it breaks my heart the most, but I think it's something that maybe it's a rite of passage, maybe we have to go through that. But I think Randy was talking about it earlier. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you have in here what it takes. And here's one more piece of advice. I don't care how old you are, there's something in your life that you've accomplished, that you've done, that you're proud of, right? Something big, something small, it doesn't matter. But when you start feeling those doubts, pull back on those things that you have already done, because guess what? You have a track record. You have a track record for succeeding in other things. And so if you succeeded in other things, you can succeed in this too. So pull the feelings that you had, pull the mindset that you had when you had those other accomplishments, and pull it into what you're doing now. So it's not young women. I think it's just
That was
all
my
women.
bad. I knew I was going to say something stupid. That was it.
Can I actually add one thing to that? Just coming from being a mom, I think moms are like superheroes and are fantastic in real estate. Like, fantastic. A lot of the same skills that are applied at PTAs, coaching your kids' sports, volunteering, translate so well into sales. And I built my whole brokerage. 90% of our brokerage were women, including our leadership team, and almost all of them are moms. And we trained them up from not being licensed to being top producers in the market. So you can do it.
The other thing is too, is we're mentoring and we're training people and we're meeting with new agents or people getting their license or getting into the business. I think it's our job as leaders to give them proper expectations. So when I'm sitting, I've been a certified mentor with our old company, I'm one with EXP. The reality is this: if they don't have a backing, whether that's a spouse, a family member, aunt, uncle, bestie, whatever, or 6 months minimum, if not a year in savings, guys, we're setting them up for failure usually. So we need to be raw and real about what this business looks like. They're not going to get their license and be off and running. And so just how do we give proper expectations to when we're mentoring newbies? So.
One of the things I think super important is that it doesn't matter how long you've been in it. You can be a brand new agent, you guys, and start, learning the market. Market information is available for anybody. So start looking at MLS daily, know your inventory, understand what, the average sales prices are. That way you start becoming an expert early on. And then your mentors can help you with what numbers you need to know. And then also, if your fear is getting on the phones, one of the things I do with most of my agents, we actually do power-ups daily, but you need to find somebody daily, so you create a schedule. And then what we do is we'll do like 1,000 dial day with new agents, because then when you have to do 100 dials a day, it doesn't seem so hard.
So good. And obviously, you're after my heart on that when we talk about prospecting and having new agents get over that, and you guys are all team leaders and leaders in general. And I love the transition. What impact financially has real estate and your business had on your family? And I say this because of this. I coach a gal in Colorado, and she started out and started advancing her career where she was making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $700,000, $800,000, and her husband is a firefighter and he's a captain. He's a heck of a job, but she's out earning him by $500,000-$600,000. And I see that in this industry. There's a lot of opportunity in this industry. How do you navigate that? How does it add value to the family? What challenges does it have? I'd like to dig into that a little bit.
Well, it's changed my family's life. Looking back, I've heard so many stories here already about the food stamps and the welfare. And, we couldn't, at the time, newspaper was how all my friends would read the comics, and we couldn't afford a newspaper. And our food was, we'd go out and, glean from the fields after, we lived in the country, obviously. So we were called gleaners, and so that's sometimes how we ate. And so I would hear stories of Disneyland, or, my parents were amazing. They took us camping because that's a free thing we could do here in Oregon. But being able to book a Disneyland trip with our kids after, we were financially able to do it. I never thought for my whole life I would go to Disneyland. It's just so simple. And so now we're able to travel and see things with our kids and experience those special moments. So that's really huge, but also being able to give at a greater level. It was when I worked in corporate, I was kind of proud of the fact that, money's nothing to me. I grew up without it, doesn't matter. And I had one of the executives say, but if the change you can make in the world if you do have it. So if you're capable of earning it so that you can then make a difference in the world, that's your responsibility, and you should be doing that. So
I love that statement. Thank you. Big round of applause. I look at you as so powerful, Jordan. I look at you as so powerful. I've seen your transition through the corporate side and now into running just a boss team. I'm just really proud of you, really proud of you. Any additional on that?
Yeah, I would add, I'm a passionate believer in building wealth through real estate. And I think for me, it hasn't come from the production side, right? I was an independent broker. I exited production pretty early on in my career, but it came through investing. And there's so many realtors that have helped their clients build wealth, and they're not doing it for themselves. And I can tell you, I literally, just a little over 10 years ago, our net worth was like negative $500,000. I am not, maybe more. Lots of debt that we paid off, Dave Ramsey, just like Matthew was talking about. And now we're at $multi-million level, and that's because of real estate. So don't just help your clients, help yourself and help your family.
And last question as we kind of wrap up this session, and feel free to add anything you want to, by the way. It's all about you, ladies. Social media, such a big component of real estate and video. Are you guys looking at video as the future of real estate? Is this a place that you're really leaning into? Where do you see it in your individual businesses? As is it a lever that's helping you in the future, or do you see it maybe as a crutch? What is it for you?
Yes. So I was at an event several months ago, a ClickFunnels event called Funnel Hacking Live, if you guys have ever heard of it. Russell Brunson went there kind of on a whim, honestly. Just wanted to kind of hear some of the speakers. And there was a speaker named Satema Ghali. He's an ex-pro football player. And whatever it was about his speech was just, it was so powerful and it hit me. And he was talking about actually not video or social media even. He was talking about consistency. And a lot of the speakers talked about consistency. A lot of the speakers talked about video. And I went, so I should probably be consistent in video. And I came that day, actually went up to Satema and said, I am committing to you that I'm going to do a video every single day for the next year. And I'm going to post it on my Instagram page. And he literally made me pinky promise, you guys. I pinky promised Satema, okay, if you guys don't know him, he looks like The Rock. Okay, he's huge. I was like, hi, yeah. So I pinky promised, and we started a couple days later, my marketing director and we have posted every single day on Instagram. So if you guys in here are on Instagram, please go follow me, shameless plug here, Andrea_Beem. And you can also follow our team at Oregon Home Hub, both of them on Instagram. Now, the interesting thing that they taught at that seminar was that when you make the commitment to post like that, you might actually lose followers. And so for a while, I thought, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to lose followers? I mean, I don't have that many to begin with, but okay. So we started it, and it was interesting to watch the progression because we're about to hit the 6-month mark of posting every single day. And what they said is your graph is going to go like this. It might even dip down a little bit for a while. It's going to come up. It's going to go down. But about the 6-month mark is where you're going to see it go like this. And they had a lot of examples. A lot of people came up on stage, and that was the identical record for almost every single one of them. Well, you guys, we're about to hit the 6-month mark, so trust me, I'm watching these stats very closely. But I committed for it for a year. So there's been times where it's been like 11:58, and we were like, oh no, we got to go post something, because I'm unwilling to not hit that year mark, and I am not starting over. So for us, it's been huge. We document everything. We post things for both agents and for consumers. And for us, video has been huge. And we've now started to gain business from that. We've implemented a program called ManyChat, which helps us to automate getting the leads in. And then we also implemented a program called Sales by Chat, which we use with ManyChat. If you guys are interested in Sales by Chat, if you haven't heard it, there's a lot of people that teach it out there. Just reach out to me and I'll get you the info on it. But Sales by Chat is just the follow-up process for when you get leads from your videos and from your social media posts and things like that. So for us, it's been huge, and it will continue to grow in our business. We are committed to it 150%.
I love it. Anybody else feel passionate about that? I know, Jordan, you've got a significant following. And I mean, I watch your stuff. I'm like, man, she's amazing. You guys are thinking so creatively. You and Jordan, he's a comedian, obviously, now. He's following that path. But tell me about what you guys do.
We try not to compare ourselves to others. I mean, we should do that all the time. But we are really silly and goofy in ours, actually, because that's just who we are. So you'll find, if you find Mike or I on Instagram, please follow us, because we do really crazy stuff. I will hang from trees, and we're silly, and my daughter gets on there and does really wild home tours, and we just have fun. So they feel very natural to record. Some of our just really raw stuff that we hardly edit is sometimes 25,000 views, and we can see on our metrics if they live in Oregon, male or female, what age range. So it's fun to look at that and use that. But yeah, and partnering with someone that does it at a high level better than you. So we partner a lot with Synergy One Lending over there, shameless plug, but they help us. They give us tools that we don't have, and so partner with someone that's better at it than you.
I love it. You guys are doing a great job with it.
So I think it's a misbelief on social media that you only need to post like personal or only business, or if it's business, it needs to be on your business page and this and that. I've been on Facebook since almost day one. I'm a very active poster, several a day. I went to actually Cabo a year and a half ago. Well, I go to Cabo every year, but a year and a half ago. And one of the speakers says, if you're not posting 5 or 6 times a day, you're missing out. And I went, 5 or 6 times a day? What are you going to post? But then I just find content, and I mix it up. I think that your clients, your friends, people that actually care about you want to see you as a real human. Oh, you're on a bike ride today. Oh, you're at a listing appointment. And it's not boasting and bragging and this and that. It's showing them that you too can do these things. You don't need to have limitations that, oh, I'm this and so I can't post that. Or, I think if you're coming from a position of inspiring people, they will get on that bandwagon. And my videos are very unpolished and silly. And that was a misbelief too. Like, I'm not going to do a video. Like, all you guys say you need to step up on your videos. I'm like, who do I go to for who edits them? And I don't know. Just do it. And then guess what? Your followers start coming in like crazy. So now, literally on the way here, somebody wants me to sell Mary Kay. I guess I'm gonna have a pink Cadillac. Can we get together next week? I want to show you all about Mary Kay. I'm not interested in Mary Kay. I think it's a great product, but utilize our social media to build upon your brand. And then also, again, so ideas for mixing up. A lot of it is real estate. A lot of it is fitness. So then I'm reaching out and helping people on like different workout regimens and what have you. And then a lot of it's recipe too. Like, okay, we can be so rad at this, but how do I do this? Do I need both? And so utilize it like a mixing pot. That's my opinion. And we have sold tons of homes off Facebook, and it's free, and none of us have to pay. We don't do sponsored ads, none of that. I've always just done the freebies. I am in a market where it's Airbnb-ish, being in Scottsdale. So I will go into the MLS and call like Jordan and say, hey, Jordan, I love your listing at XYZ. Do you care if I post it on my social media? I always get approval just in case somebody gets their undies in a wad. And then I post. I'll be damned if I don't sell that darn thing. And people out of my Oregon market will call and say, that thing you just posted, I'm like, oh yeah, that house in the Biltmore. And next thing you know, I'm writing it up. Goes live again next week because we're selling it. But still, it's utilize your platforms to drive traffic to yourself, whether it's through your sales, through your family, friendships. Gain some great friends. There's a lot of like support groups out there too. So don't look at it as taboo, and don't look at it like a bragging tool. You're bringing value, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, the right intentions, people will follow you.
Let's give them a big round of applause, please. Ladies, thank you very much for your contribution. Appreciate you.